So you've discovered a new goal that you want to achieve in your life. You're all excited about it, you feel motivated, you're certain that it's the thing that you want to achieve right now in your life. Question for you. Do you share your goal with the people closest to you? Your family, your friends, your co-workers? Do you tell them what it is you want to achieve and how you're going to go about achieving it? And the answer is maybe. It depends on the situation and the people that you're talking to. This topic of whether we should share our goals is one that's been discussed at length on YouTube, in TED Talks, in different articles, and I wanted to give my 2 cents, my perspective on why I think it's sometimes a bad idea to share your goals, and in certain circumstances, why it can be good to share your goals with the right people. You might have noticed that when you share your goals with people in your life, sometimes they're very supportive and they're positive and they encourage you, and then other times they're kind of critical and negative and they question you. They're telling you maybe you should rethink your strategy, or maybe it's not the right time, or maybe you're not the right person to achieve that. The feeling of being criticized for a goal in your life that you want to achieve can be incredibly deflating because you're putting yourself out there. You're saying to the world, I want to achieve this. I'm risking failure to do this. And the people around you, sometimes who you love very dearly and you trust deeply, are saying to you, I don't think you should do it. This adds an extra level of pressure above and beyond the potential failure that you could face of if you actually now choose to pursue this goal, maybe the people around you will start to criticize you, maybe start to kind of reject you, or you'll become isolated. It's a true risk that we all face in our lives if we share our goals with the wrong people. Now, if you go online and you research the topic of should you share your goals, one of the things that you'll find is a TED Talk that came up by Sivers, who's an entrepreneur, and he quotes a study that was done several years back where they tested people who were going to try to achieve a particular task. They got half the group to tell people that they were going to achieve this particular goal, this particular task, and they got the other half of the group to say nothing and just go ahead and achieve the task. Interestingly, the group who didn't tell anybody about their goal and what they're going to achieve tended to complete it more often than the people who actually told others that they were going to achieve it. Why was that? Well, in the TED Talk, Sivers explains the fact that very often when we talk about our goals, it gives us the same kind of emotional payoff as actually achieving them. And this is the idea of talking versus doing. Sometimes we just feel good talking about the goals that we want to achieve, but actually getting around to achieving them sometimes is more difficult than we realize, so we just keep talking about them. So in this respect, if you look at it from this angle and this small study, maybe it isn't a good idea to share your goals. It's better just to be quiet and get to work on them so that you're more likely to achieve them. Well, that is one perspective, and I think in some circumstances it is better to just be a quiet achiever and go forward with your ambitions and not worry about explaining to everyone what you're doing in your life. Sometimes just getting ahead is the best form of proof, but there are circumstances where you can't avoid it. Maybe you need to explain to someone what you're doing. Maybe you're in a position where you need their help, and you have to explain to the people in your life what kind of goals you're trying to achieve. And very often this is when we face the criticism. Now, why do people criticize your goals? Well, I believe that there are several reasons, and some of them are more subtle than others. So I want to share 3 in particular that I have noticed of why people tend to criticize your goals when you share them. The first is that they're worried that you will fail. They're genuinely concerned that you don't have the skills or abilities because they're seeing you through the lens of their eyes. They're thinking, well, I wouldn't be able to do that, so therefore they won't be able to do it, and I want to protect them from the disappointment and the failure. This is actually coming from a good intention. However, it's not really encouraging to you in the moment to hear that you shouldn't go ahead and try to achieve your goal. The second reason is that they're worried that you will change. Very often when you try to achieve something in your life, the people around you can't kind of relate to you in the same way. Maybe you have better skills, maybe you have more success, maybe something's changed for you personally and you're not behaving in the same way. Very often they can't relate to you in the same way, and they're worried about your relationship, your connection to them. They're worried that by you achieving this goal, it will threaten the dynamic and the relationship and the status quo that you have between the two of you. And that's a reason why they're criticizing. And the third reason, which is the most subtle, is that they want the same thing for themselves, but they're afraid to go for it. And by criticizing you, by telling you not to go for it, it keeps you at the same level in life and it lets them off the hook. This one is extremely surreptitious. It's not something that people will admit to, but it's there underneath the surface. You see this a lot when someone wants to find a partner in life. Say your friend is single and you want to find a partner and they're criticizing you, saying, no, don't do that. Let's stay single together. Come on, we're having so much fun. You don't need to get into a couple. They actually want the same thing for themselves, but they're scared to go out and try and get it. So they want to maintain the status quo. You see this in business, you see this in a lot of other ambitions as well. They're scared of actually doing something for themselves, so they tend to try to criticize you to stop you from achieving it so that they don't look bad and it doesn't reflect on them. These are the reasons that I believe people criticize your goals. They're not necessarily just haters, they have subtle reasons under the surface that are actually driving their motivation and their reasons for criticizing you. Often it's coming from a good intention, or sometimes it's coming from them avoiding a fear of their own. But if you have that understanding and empathy, sometimes it helps you to move past their criticism and achieve what you want despite what they're saying. So I said in the beginning of the video that maybe you should share your goals. And what I've learned is that you should share your goals with the right people. There are people out there in the world who are on the same path as you or have already achieved what it is you want to achieve. There's a great quote in the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, that I really love by David J. Schwartz, where he says, if you go to someone who has achieved what you want to achieve and you tell them that you want to achieve it, they won't laugh at you. Why? Because they know it's possible. Whereas if you go to people who haven't achieved what you want to achieve, they're more likely to laugh at you, criticize you, condemn you for wanting to do something different in your life. So obviously you have to choose the right people to share your goals with. What I have noticed in my life, especially in areas like public speaking, I tended to spend more time with other aspiring speakers and people who were further ahead than me in the speaking world. And guess what? They encouraged me, they supported me, they gave me resources, and they gave me the enthusiasm and energy to persist with my goals of becoming a speaker. There's probably the same thing for you. Whatever your goal is, there's a community of people or there's individuals out there who are on the same path as you or have already achieved what it is you want. Seek out those people, ask them for counsel, and share with them what it is you want to achieve. And I promise you, when you do that, you will find the encouragement and support you need. I believe that setting goals in your life is one of the best things that you can do for fulfillment, for excitement, and for a sense of growth and development. But at the same time, it does mean that sometimes you will be criticized, you'll be questioned by the people around you, especially the people who you love dearly and you trust. And that is a tough thing at times, but it doesn't have to stop you. You still have their love, you still have the relationship, but you can still continue on the path that you want to continue on, despite their criticism or their questioning of you. And I want to leave you with one final thought, and that is that success is the best revenge. You've probably heard this said by many different people, but the idea that those who criticize you, the best way to get back at them, to prove the haters wrong, is to simply succeed at what you want to do. The more you focus your energy into the things you want to do, the goals you want to achieve, the more likely you are to achieve them and to shut up the people who are criticizing you or questioning you. My friend, I have learned in my life that when I actually achieve something, very often the same people who criticized me in the beginning now want to support me and are behind me 100%. And it's a strange phenomenon, but it's something that happens very often when you're persistent with your goals and you share them with the right people from the beginning. Hopefully this video has been valuable for you. Please leave a like and a comment below sharing your experience, sharing your goals with people in your life. And if you like what I'm doing on this channel, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as part of our community. My name is Midson-Short. Thank you for watching, and thank you for improving yourself.